Till my graduation, I was like any other engineering. I done my engineering in mechanical engineering, that too.
How many attempts has to be the ideal ones?
I think there's no replacement for hard work. Consistently hardworking you need to be.
And how a candidate who is starting just now for the preparing should select the option. Newspaper reading, how to connect the newspaper with the syllabus we have. How students can improve their scores into general studies 3 part. Whether you should start with the prelim or you should start with the main. First of all, thank you so much for agreeing to do this particularly insightful conversation. Part, I would like to just tell few words about you that before 2 days, we were actually supposed to record these things into before 2 days, but I had a personal emergency there, that's why I wasn't able to do it. And sir was gracious enough to say that, "Arey, it's okay, we will do it after 2 days." And this is actually very gracious of you that yes, you agreed to readjust the whole center. So we are very thankful. And this is what like we are going to talk about on a length as well about how this humility was developed. What was the role of your preparation into this whole development? How did you achieve the position you are into right now? The rank, apart from that, the preparation level, the consistency, the perseverance, and all those parts we are going to talk about it today. So, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Pratik Pitambare. Over here in Latur, Maharashtra, we run a small institute where students come and they get the guidance for UPSC preparation. And we are specifically preparing students for the UPSC CSE exam. And this is where we are right now. And let me remind you and again tell you and say thank you to you that you are our first guest who is a post holder and who is ready to share his insights with all of our students. So thank you so much.
You're most welcome. Most welcome.
Thank you, sir. So if you permit, I would like to start the interview with you. And we would like to keep it as you have mentioned. So we would keep it crisp to the point and exam oriented only. Yes. So first, you attempt. It was your sixth attempt, as far as it was the final attempt, and exactly. How did you do it, sir? For 6 consistent years, and 6 plus 1, practically 7 years, and you did the same thing again and again, and finally you got what you wanted. What was the motivation, and how did you do it?
Actually, the speaking about the motivation, when you have a strong why, I mean, why are you trying to pursue the civil service exam, and what do you aim to do after getting into the services? That's what drives you, and it's a continuous process, and it's like once you get into it, you reach to some stage. In first 2 attempts, I could not clear prelims. Then I cleared prelims. Then for 2 attempts, I could not clear mains. Then I cleared forest service as well, and civil service. I gave 2 interviews. So that's how the process kept on engaging me, and it was like I was missing by very smaller margins every time. So there was a constant feeling that just a little thing was left somewhere on my part. So that could be improved. That drive to improve yourself keeps you moving. And when you have as I just said, you have a stronger why. Like, why do you want to pursue civil services? That keeps you motivating. And seeing the videos and it motivates you for some time. Like you can by watching videos or speaking to someone, you can motivate yourself for 1 or 2 days, but for the longer term, it should come from within. And when you have a strong why, I think it is together.
Okay. So as you mentioned, sir, a strong why. So if you permit, would you like to elaborate on like what was that why?
Yeah, actually, my school, I studied in Sri Ramakrishna Vidyashala. It is run by Ramakrishna Matan Mission.
Okay.
It's in Mysore. So my school played a very significant role in me choosing civil services. The basic teachings of Swami Vivekananda for nation building, doing service to society, and all these things were taught to me from childhood. So this thing was there at the back of my mind to do something, to give it back to the society, to do something more than just a 9 to 5 job. Find ultimately the aim, and at end of the day, you want to find some meaning for the work you are doing. Like you want a purpose for your life. So that was my aim, and to, as I said, to give it back to society. That was there. And after my graduation, till my graduation, I was like any other engineering. I done my engineering in mechanical engineering, that too. So as a normal engineering guy, just studying
One
for
day before the
engineering
exam.
just
Yeah.
one day before the exam, exactly, and then clearing the exam. Then after graduation, it stuck to me that I should go for civil services. That's why I took a longer time for me to clear as well, because if you have planned it ahead, like, so most of them start preparing from the graduation itself. That's why it gets easier to clear in earlier attempts.
And sir, you mentioned about the longer time you took. Would you like to tell like how students can shorter their preparation or start early in that manner? And what should be the ideal strategy for a student? How many attempts has to be the ideal ones? Because there are various opinions on it. Because few people tell 3 attempts are more than enough. Do not waste your youth into this. Yeah, India do
Hmm.
have a demographic dividend, but still we have a precious youth that shouldn't get wasted into the UPSC as well. What is your take
Yes,
on
yes.
it?
Yes, I agree to it to some extent. It is very necessary to tap your energetic years into something more useful than spending it into four walls, within four walls. That you can start early. That most of them start from the graduation years itself. So that now immediately after the graduation, they start giving attempts, and in 2 3 attempts, it is possible to clear. Right. So one thing is the consistency. You need to be very consistent. As they say, it's not a sprint; it's a marathon. So even if you clear in one attempt, it takes 2 years. 1 year of preparation for the prelims, and the entire process takes 1 year, right? So it is a marathon anyway. So you need to be consistent, and I think there's no replacement for hard work. Consistently hardworking you need to be, doing the same thing repeatedly day after day. That's what improves you, right? So rather than running behind multiple sources, stick to your materials and multiple revisions. Keep on doing it, keep on doing it, and you will get the results. And as I said, you can start from the graduation days itself, at least to plan and to start reading basic books like NCRTs or some standard books you can pick up. And after that, after getting into the civil services full-fledged preparation, you can go for the hardcore preparation, and you can clear it in first attempt as well. It is possible.
And as we mentioned just now, prelims, first year of preparation, and after that we give the prelims. So there are multiple opinion on the fact that whether you should start with the prelim or you should start with the main. Specifically, when
Hmm.
it comes to tier 3 cities and rural areas particularly, there are a lot of ambiguities in like what should be the ideal way to start. Suppose this is June, a candidate has completed his graduation, or for that matter, someone is starting. Next May, there is an examination. So, what should be the
Hmm.
ideal approach in the beginning part? Let's say this is June.
Yes. I think there is no watertight compartment as in to divide the subjects or the matter between prelims and mains. Okay, both things go hand in hand. If you say the first day itself to the student to study about mains, like you give him a subject like disaster management or security issues, you won't be able to do it. They have to start from the basics. Like you can pick up history or geography, these basic subjects, because we have been studying since childhood. Maybe in any stream we have taken in graduation, but we would have studied to some extent all these civic subjects. So you can start from them, and after some time, after basic reading. The NCRTs is the most important thing for civil services exam. So you can start from NCRTs, and after that you can pick up the standard books. covering these basic subjects, as I just said, history, then geography, then you can pick up polity. And if you are an engineer, you do not know anything about economy, right? And you can slowly start to pick up these subjects which are not of your zone, and then gradually you can start shift to the subjects of main. And when the prelims is just some 3 to 4 months, standardly speaking, some 100 days just before prelims, you can start the hardcore prelims part of it. As in to say the specific prelim specific subject, so that you can skip society, Indian society, security issues, or the disaster management, international relations. These questions won't come in prelims part. You can keep them for the mains part. But till 100 days, you can prepare for both. And hand in hand, you have to prepare for your optional as well. Optional plays a very major role in mains as well as deciding your rank. So I think the entire preparation is not compartmentalized, but it goes hand in hand.
Okay, sir. Sir, when it comes to selection of the optional, you mentioned about the optional just now. There are many of the aspects, like few people tell optional should be selected on the basis of how many marks they are giving into the mains. Few people tell it should be the interest should be the sole criteria. Few people tell the syllabus has to be like concise. What is your take, and how a candidate who is starting just now for the preparing should select the optional?
All these factors do matter. Uh, just by interest, you cannot pick a optional. That's my personal feeling, because you need to analyze the trend in the UPSC, right? The how many students are getting the marks. Like in every subject, there will be a few who would be getting around 300, but there will be outliers. You have to see most number of people getting average and above average marks, like 270, 280, 290. If many people are getting these range of marks, that subject is considered to be fetching good marks at present times. There was a time when geography optional was getting very good marks, but in recent years, geography marks have reduced. Similarly, public administration. But there are some optionals like sociology, PSIR. These subjects are getting average and above average marks consistently. So I think it is safer to say that yes, interest makes a significant contribution to it, because you need to invest so much of time and studying that particular subject that you should not get exhausted. For that matter, your interest also plays a big role, but it should not solely based on your interest. One thing is look for the marks and the what UPSC is the range of marks UPSC is allotting. Based on that, you can select your interest, and most of it, I think, first of all, you can go through the syllabus of all the optional subjects which you feel you can take up. And once you go through the syllabus, you get a feel like what I would be able to study, and in which subject I can go in depth. And for that matter, you can go for previous year question papers as well for previous 2 3 years. For that, you can pick the questions, and by reading the questions itself, you get a feeling that by studying, I would be able to answer these questions. These could be some of the criteria which a candidate can consider. I cannot say that if a history background student is there, he has to take history. It is not necessary, because most of engineers do not take engineering subjects as their optional, right? So yes, it can be beneficial if someone has been studying sociology or political science in their graduation or postgrad. They can take it up. It would be definitely helpful for them, and there is no need to think of it. Like when it comes to technical subjects, it is difficult, because not everyone is an IITian or NITian, and if we are graduated from a different colleges, we would be competing with those who have graduated from the IIT, right? So we would be on a back foot there. because the UPSC syllabus for these technical subjects optional is very in-depth and detailed, which we won't be studying in our graduation in engineering.
Thank you, sir. And again, when someone chooses the optional, is there a set criteria that in these many days the optional has to be done, or the optional can go side by side till candidate is giving prelims?
It can work both ways actually. It works differently for different people. I used to study both together, but as I said, just some 3 months or 100 days before the prelims, just stop thinking about optional, because you need to switch to prelims 100%, because prelims has become very competitive nowadays. For that matter, even CSAT. So you need to give full time for prelims preparation. So before that, you can divide the number of days for optional and for general studies, or you can divide number of hours per day, like 4 to 5 hours per day for optional and the remaining hours for general studies. You can, so that both go hand in hand. And once you are finished with the optional, you can start with full-fledged GS preparation in that time as well.
Sir, talking of the prelims, this is actually the biggest hurdle in the preparation in these coming years, as we are seeing. Many of the students are starting their preparation with the prelims itself. That, okay, I am weak into prelims and I have to prepare for it. What was your experience? First question, what was your experience with the prelims? Next thing, how to prepare for this particular aspect on a entirety, if it is able to, if you are able to just explain it to us.
Yes. To answer your first question, you cannot just prepare for prelims, right? What is the use of it, even if you clear prelims without any preparation for me, right? In 3.5 months, you cannot prepare your optional, your ethics, essay, and core main subjects in just 3.5 months, right? So you need to be prepared to cover it in 3.5 months and write your mains. At the end, the mains is that matters, right? Prelims does not define your rank or your service, or you're getting into the list. But yes, indeed, the prelims is the first step, but it is very important. And I just forgot. What was the
second question was how to prepare for it in a proper fashion for prelims part.
Okay.
CSAT is also an important aspect into this. So it will be better if you tell us in an elaborative manner into this.
Yeah. So talking about prelims, see, there are some 7-8 subjects specifically for which the question comes for prelims. Even in that, there are 4 major subjects to mention them: environment, economics, modern history,
polity.
I'm sorry, polity. Right. These 4 subjects are very important. You can pick up any year's question paper and you can analyze it. There will be at least 70% of questions that comes from these 4 subjects. Right. If we focus on strengthening these 4 subjects, it is, by what I mean by focusing is, you should be confident enough that I would not go wrong in even one question in these subjects. Right. If your level of preparation is to that extent, it is very easy to clear prelims. So other than these, there are subjects like there is art and culture, medieval, ancient history, and
science and tech is also there.
Science and tech is there. Science and tech. Geography. These subjects are there, but they're not consistent. In some years, you would get some art and culture 10-15 questions. In some years, you get ancient, medieval questions. And some years, you get more of geography questions, but they're not consistent. But on these 4 subjects, you can rely 100%. There would be major chunk of questions coming from these 4 subjects. It's an era of internet, and there is plethora of material available in the market, right? So what I have seen from many of the students is that they run behind the material, seeing each other. He's reading that material. I haven't gone through it. What if the questions come from that I won't be able to answer, right? So in that way, we run behind the material. Rather than that, it is very important to stick to your particular sources. Fix your sources for each subject and 3 to 4 times revision of each material you read. including the current affairs. Right. Only then you would be able to answer the questions with full confidence. Otherwise, what happens is by just one or two readings, what happens is that you would have a feeling that I have read about it. And when you see the question, you get committed to it that, yes, I have read about this question. I need to answer it. And but there is a lack of revision. But there is a false sense of confidence that I have read about it and I would answer it. And then you go on answering it and end up committing a mistake. This is what happens. And coming back from the exam hall, I've seen many, and even myself, I have done it. Such a silly mistake. How could I miss this? How could I do such a mistake? All this happens only because of lack of revision. Right. So when you stick to your sources and revise multiple times, you get the confidence. And in the exam hall, at the end, that's what matters, because entire year's preparation, you are being tested in just 2 hours.
Correct.
Right. So that's what I feel is very important.
Sir, you mentioned about current affairs also in this conversation.
Yes.
As a teacher, I can assure you a fact that this is the most biggest fear a candidate face. Like, यहाँ
Yes.
से current affair करूँ, वहाँ से करूँ, what should I do? Shall I read the newspaper or shall I take the magazine? So, what should be the ideal approach to cover the current affairs?
For current affairs, for surely there is no replacement for newspaper. Newspaper is a must for current affairs. You take up any number of magazines, you keep on by hearting, you won't be able to compensate for newspapers. Right. So newspaper reading daily is very important. Yes, I know starting to read newspaper, the Hindu or Indian Express, it takes even up to 3 hours when you begin to start, when you begin to read it. But slowly the time gets reduced because there won't be any topics, new topics every day. There will be follow-ups on topics day by day, and when you just see the heading, you'll get to know about the topic, and it won't take more than 1 hour to complete the entire paper after some 6 or 7 months of reading it regularly. A newspaper is one thing, and other than that, you can pick up any one magazine. Right. I think, talking about myself, I did not used to prepare notes from newspapers. Right. Because what I used to feel is, even for one day, if I'm preparing one page of notes from current affairs, at the end, 365 days of current affairs, 365 pages, and I won't get the time to revise them. When would I revise? So it becomes this bulky, and you won't open them up any time sooner.
Correct.
So what I feel is reading newspaper is a good thing, but you can pick up any one magazine because there are coaching institutes who are doing the job for you. They are making the notes and they are preparing these things for you. You can just pick up any one source and keep reading it. Like as I said, 3 to 4 revisions and you are good to go. I think these two things would work for. I think there is nothing else is needed to tackle current affairs.
Current affairs. Okay. Sir, one more thing. There are many of the editorial analysis kind of things. Like, what is your take on it? Shall the analysis be the candidate's own, or you can borrow it, or you can just take a help from the online material?
Speaking for myself, I used to go for these online materials or analysis only for specific topics which I could feel are very important, and I think I'm not able to cover this or understand this holistically by myself. Only for those topics, I used to go to YouTube and search it. There are many teachers available online who would be explaining these things for you. But if you are reading the newspaper and going through these analysis of each of the topics, you would be spending half of the day doing this.
Correct.
Right. So the time plays a very important role. There is always a cost-benefit ratio. The amount of time and cost you are giving it, there needs to be equivalent amount of benefit you need to get from it. So I think taking these extra resources as a limited source would be beneficial rather than going for entire analysis.
Okay, sir. And sir, newspaper reading, how to connect the newspaper with the syllabus we have? Because in the beginning, as you said, 3 hours it takes, 4 hours it takes. So how can we reduce the time with the help of the syllabus as well?
Yes. Actually, it takes time. The starting month you won't be able to connect, you won't be able to understand, or you won't be able to remember things. But as you are studying both your study material as well as the newspaper together every day, right? So gradually it keeps on developing. One thing the student should keep in mind while reading the newspaper itself, that after reading a heading, it after some time it gradually connects to your mind ki, yes, this I had read, this article I had read. I mean, this uh, article 21 of the constitution directly relates to this life and liberty. It is coming in the editorial or some heading, so it starts to connect. And while reading, if you reading newspaper, if you keep your mind open and try to connect the examples, and like this example where I can use, I mean, which subject it connects directly to. It comes with time, I think, and it just open mind, and the student would be able to analyze things better.
Okay, sir. Sir, speaking after prelims, we would like to ask your opinion on the GS part, mains wala part. GS
Yes.
1, 2, 3, and 4. In these years, as it is visible, GS 3 is a dynamic, as it is a dynamic subject, but apart from that, it is very less scoring for students. So, why it is so, and how students can improve their scores into general studies 3 part?
Speaking specifically about general GS3, it is not that it has always been a low scoring subject, because there were years when people were getting 130, 120, even more than that in GS3 as well. It is a trend with UPSC. It deliberately reduces the number of marks. For example, we know that the paper is for 250 marks. If the examiner or the UPSC decides to give the highest number of marks as 120 or 110, however good your preparation is, it would be ranked based on that. It would be shortened based on that, right? So it is not about scoring maximum number of marks, but it is about preparing your best for the subject, right? If you are preparing all the parts of GS3 well, and see, even when you talk about current affairs in GS3, not all topics are current to current affairs, but they are based on the static things only, right? There, for example, there is a question on tax in most of the years. Either it is GST or direct tax or something. So that does not come directly from the current affairs. There is a background to it, right? If your basics are strong and if you are reading the current affairs regularly, you will definitely connect it in the exam, right? You will just introduce by the questions context and the current affairs it was related to. You will mention it in the introduction and the body and your statics, and you can in between you can use the examples from the current affairs. That's how it works. Current affairs. I mean, there are few questions that will come from core current affairs. That is equal for all, right? So you would be able to manage it if you are updated with the current affairs and if you are regularly reading your current affairs. And there are some even in GS3 we used to analyze the previous year questions. We talk about previous year questions mostly for prelims, but they matter a lot for mains as well. There are questions that repeat, not exact questions, but there will be themes. Just as I said, GST or tax, there would be one question on it every year. Based on that, you can analyze the previous 7-8 years questions, and you can cut down on the specific themes on which UPSC is asking questions repeatedly. If you are prepared for those questions, you will save a lot of time and energy for them in the exam hall. The time you save would help you in attempting the bouncers, as we call them, the current affairs or the hard questions that come. Right. So that is the basic approach, I would say, not only for GS3 but in general as well. That would work.
Sir, when it comes to general studies papers, 20 questions will be there, 10 marker, 10 15 marker.
Yes.
What is your take on it? how a candidate should approach those 3 hours into the paper. From which questions he start. Apart from that, what should be his mindset and answer pattern? We will move forward. We will take it later. But what should be the ideal approach?
Yes, I think there is nothing such as ideal approach for it. Right, it works differently for different candidates. Right, but you need to find it out what works for you. The best way to do is writing tests. Right, when you write a mains test on test series, you will try different things. Right? We used to do it. Like once we used to start from question number one until question number 20 and see what is the way the time is managed and or the quality of questions. Is it degrading as I go to the towards the end? Because there would be a time constraint as well as we move towards the end. So based on that, you will try different things. One thing is constant. For 10 marker, you need to spend 7 or 7.5 minutes, and for 15 marker, it is 10.5 or 11 minutes. Through that, once you will start from question number one, then after, if it does not work for you, then you start to answer 15 markers once, right? Because sometimes for some people it happens that some people feel that I won't be get into the writing mode just right from question number one. So what they do is write question number 10 first and come back, or start to write 15 markers first, and then they come for 10 markers. Or some people also feel that I should not keep 15 markers for the end, and I can. The basic thinking is that if I am getting shorter time for later questions, I would be able to manage 10 markers in 4 to 5 minutes. But I won't be able to manage the same 15 marker question in 4 to 5 minutes. So that's why many people keep 10 markers for the end. Right. Okay. So all these things work differently for different people, but these things should be tried and tested in your test series, and find out what works best for you, and keep it for the main exam.
Okay, sir. Sir, what is your take on the fact that in general studies, if you want to excel in mains, whenever you give prelims, you have to be the mains ready. So, what is your take on it?
To be mains ready.
Yes. When you're giving prelims, that candidate has to completed his general studies part and optional at some extent as well.
Immediately after the prelims, result takes some 15-20 days to be announced. Correct. Right. I've seen most of the people do not get into mains mode immediately after the prelims, and they wait for the results. Correct. Even when they are knowing that they were clearing with ease, with the number of marks they are getting. So this pushes them to the back foot, which is the biggest mistake, I think. And even I have done that, but I would say that it should not be done. Okay. And to be mains ready, I think, as I mentioned earlier also, just before 100 days before, I mentioned 100 days for prelims. Before that, you were preparing for both prelims and mains, right? So when you are going for prelims, your basic notes for the main subjects have to be prepared, right? Which includes optional, the core main subjects like ethics, social issues, security, disaster management, in international relations, to the maximum extent possible. If there are some one or two subjects or one or two topics that are left, it can be covered in the mains preparation as well. Yes. But to maximum extent, these need to be covered, right? And immediately after the prelims, I think you need to start preparing. You can pick up optional and ethics or society part, right? Because of GS1, GS4, and optional are mostly static based, right? And GS2, GS3 comes from a lot comes from current affairs. Even in GS2, international relations and the cases, the polity part also is related to current affairs. So we need to wait for some time for the current affairs to be updated, right? So immediately after the prelims, you can pick these core main subjects that are static in nature, right? And for mains preparation, I think answer writing is very important. Without answer writing, I mean, you need not go for the exams also.
Correct.
you would not be able to clear it without practice of answer writing.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Okay, sir. And sir, you mentioned about ethics as well right now. We have discussed on GS2 and 3. Ethics, how did you prepare and what should be the approach for ethics? I'll give you two examples, sir. One of my
Okay.
own example, I didn't use any kind of book. I just
Hmm.
prepared on the basis of subject and I was able
Hmm.
to score quite well. Another friend of
Hmm.
mine, he used books, he also prepared well and he also went. Both the people had common thing that, as you mentioned, the practice part. We
Yes.
practice fairly well. But
Hmm.
if some person is starting right now and he want to learn about the ethics and how to prepare for it, first question. Next, sources which to use. Number three, how to practice it.
I think to begin with, if you do not have a background, reading about it for the first time in the civil service exam, at least in my case, I mean, we used to hear thoughts, the sayings or anecdotes, but what is ethics, definition of ethics or definition of morality, all these things, the theory part of it, we mostly won't be knowing, right? So, to study them, I think picking up a book would give you a comprehensive picture about it, just one reading of the book, and the method you suggested, picking up the syllabus and picking up each keyword from the syllabus and making one page note for
Correct.
each keyword. Like, for example, if I pick up ethics, what is ethics, right? A definition, and then some two three examples, any diagram if that is available in the book or internet, anything, or any anecdote or any personalities who have done some ethical work, all these things can be noted in one page, right? Similarly, for all the topics in the UPSC GS4 syllabus, you can prepare these notes for all the topics, and you can keep on revising them, and adding on examples from the current affairs would also help, right? uh, and then you talked about the material part of it,
Exactly.
right? Uh-huh. I think to pick up one book, I can suggest one book by D.K. Balaji. That ethics book is, I think it's the language is very simple and it is very easy to understand for the beginner. Anyone can pick that book and start reading from it. At the end of it, you can prepare the notes, as I said, and it would be very helpful. And to tackle, actually, there are two parts in ethics. One is the theory part, and there is the case studies part. Even in case studies, there is a pattern that UPSC asks questions about. Right? If you pick up previous 7 8 years question papers and analyze them, you will get some 8 to 10 themes based on which the case studies are repeated every year. For example, there would be one case study about corruption, one case study about harassment of women at workplace, one case study about some disaster management, or some mob lynching, or some communal disturbance. There are these themes, right? You can pick those themes and prepare the crux for all of them, right? What all you can prepare. There could be variables that the UPSC would introduce in the case study, but there are some constants. Like if there is a case study on corruption, I would say the corruption as defined by Transparency International is this. Again, my introduction is ready, right?
Correct.
In conclusion, I can write a thought. I can prepare this also. I can prepare what could be the possible stakeholders in the case study that is related to corruption. There would be some government servant. There would be some aggrieved party. There would be some the public at large would be there, right?
Correct.
Uh,
Correct.
these things can be noted down for each theme. Uh, right, and also some of the anecdotes from the civil servants or the freedom fighters. Anything, it can be anything. So if you can note down these things on a single page and keep revising it to see how much it would be easier for you to write in the mains after reading any case study. If just by the face of it, you would get to know about the theme of the case study, and you would have a framework ready to answer it. You just have to put in the facts from the case study into this framework, and it would be very easy for you to answer. it would also save a lot of time. And for that, it all comes from practice, and you need to the answer writing practice with time limit. Only then you could improve qualitatively as well as quantitatively. And ethics can be a very good scoring subject if you are well prepared. So yes, this strategy would work, I think.
Okay. Sir, you were mentioning about making a note, crisp note about
Yes.
related topics. Can you just shed some light on the fact that how to make a good note? Take any topic you
Okay.
want to from all the GS4, and how can a candidate can make note for it?
Yes. Uh, yes. For main specific topics, you
Main
can
specific.
yes, main specific topics. For example, caste system in Indian society. Okay. Uh, to talk about it, you can the best introduction for any question related to caste would be to define it. Right. The caste is a social structure based on the hierarchy. There is a definition. You get three, four lines definition. You can write it, and there would be one heading. Like you just analyze the previous year questions, right, and see on what lines the UPSC is asking questions. Even in caste, it is asking about the structure, different caste, inter division of the caste. All these topics are there. So for that, you start writing on points basis. I used to make notes in points format. That would be easier to reproduce in the mains, right? And some people also also feel it comfortable to prepare notes in the paragraph format, but I used to prepare it in points format, which I felt was easier for me. So in that manner, in different heads, one head, some 4 5 points, and then different head again 4 5 points, and then conclusion. Conclusion also you can pick up from the same topic, or if the source material you are studying, you can directly make notes of it. If when it comes to the current affairs topic, even for that, if you feel it is very important and if you contemplate that it can be asked in mains, you can prepare like for introduction you can mention the context of it, then pros, cons, the challenges to implement it, or the challenges it could face in present times, and then conclusion or the way forward as well. Like in these 3 4 heads, if you prepare the notes very crisply, like in preparing notes, you need to cut down your English. Like it was, it is not necessary. Just write the keyword and move ahead. It saves a lot of time while preparing as well, and as well as when you revise it as also. If it is taking some 10 minutes to read entire sentences for a page, it will take some 3 4 minutes to read those keywords, and you can revise 2 more times, 2 more extra times if you prepare these crisp notes.
Sir, sir, as you mentioned, the crux of it, can it be said that we have to make note in such a way which we can replicate into our answer? Can we say that?
Exactly. Yes, yes, perfect.
Okay, sir. Sir, one more trend I want to ask about is into the mains itself. So after that, we will move to some other topic. In mains, recent trend is people are just writing the subheading and again subheading and again subheading without the explanation. So
Hmm.
what is your take on it? Instead of writing 4 points, they are writing 6 7, but they are not explaining any of it.
Actually, it depends on the demand of the question, right?
Okay.
If the question requires the only 2 heads, like the question can be divided into 2 heads, you need to explain it in 2 3 lines each point. If the question itself has 4 parts, there is no space for you to explain, right? So it depends on the question, and I think if there is scope, it is always better to explain in 2 3 writing some filler points like increasing social awareness or enhancing ethical morality. All these are filler points. These do not make any sense, but they are helpful to just to fill the page. I think these points do not make sense. Rather than that, it is very useful for if you explain, if you write in one sentence and if you back it by any example or data or any even explanation, that would be more beneficial and would be more analytical, and the examiner would be better satisfied with that approach rather than writing 10, 12 points altogether. That's what I feel.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Again, sir, related to other altogether a different but very important aspect, essay. Essay is the thing on which like 70 lectures also can be done, or 7 lectures also can be done, or 7 minutes are also enough. So, how to write a good essay, which will fetch marks as well, and which will also useful for the growth of an individual altogether.
Yeah. Essay is a thing like everyone feels that essay to manage ho jayega. I can manage essay, but it is not a fact actually. It doesn't work like that. You have to practice it, right? But you may not read it separately for essays, but you need to practice it. Right. There are earlier they used to ask some simple topics. There were themes like women issues, children issues, and these on these topics there used to be essays. But nowadays they're asking both the philosophical essays.
Correct.
So for that you can use anecdotes, different anecdotes. You can prepare your notes for essays also, right? You can note down some important quotes, anecdotes, examples, right? Anything. You make notes of it, and while preparing also, you keep on thinking like, how could I use this example? Where can I fit this example into, or how can I use this, connect this example or this topic with this example? Okay. So even for that, the using previous year topics of essays to practice would be very helpful, because you can go for hundreds of coachings, but no coaching would be able to match the level of UPSC. Right. So best thing would be to pick up the UPSC previous year questions and to practice. You have to write some 8 to 10 essays before you go to the exam hall. Only then you would get a feel of it. Even if you do not have a mentor, if you have a mentor who could guide into it, it is really good. Even if you do not have, you can read it by yourself, and you will get to know at what level you are writing an essay. And after reading it, you will also get to know the ways to improve it. You can you by yourself you will be able to understand. I am using this sentence repeatedly, or I am this example does not fit into this flow, or the flow is not really good. You would be able to understand it. And to, as you said, if we can speak for hours on essays, yeah, but these basic things can be kept in mind while writing.
Okay, sir. Sir, the syllabus part is being covered as of now. We had asked from students about whatever questions they have. So we have written questions. Max, we will take 10 minutes of the 10 minutes of your time so that we can concise it within the 1 hour interview of yours. If you have permission, we would like to ask, sir.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. You mentioned just now about the mentor. The first question is related to mentor only. The question is being asked by Suman. Suman lives into a space called Buldana, a city called Buldana over here. Suman is asking, I do not have much guidance into my city. Shall I go for online classes, or shall I join any mentorship program?
Okay. I think there is no hard and fast rule. Like something may work for someone, something may not work for someone. If you are good at reading and you can read by yourself, a mentor would be sufficient, I think, and he would be able to guide you to read this book, read this material, or write the answer for these questions. Can guide you to do things. And if you can commit yourself to do things without anyone's supervision or anyone's further micromanagement, it is sufficient for you to consult a mentor. But if you feel you're not good at studying by yourself, and there is an issue for you to understand things, and especially if you do not have a background, then you can go for online coaching as well, online classes. That would be helpful for you to understand things better, and it would also help you to prepare your notes. Like by watching the classes, you would be preparing notes, so it would make your notes concise. Otherwise, if you were, as I said, you can prepare notes by reading books as well. So it totally depends on you. Yeah, in whichever thing you fits you, you should go for it.
Okay, so thank you. Sir, Rajesh from Chikli. Chikli is one of the district over here. He is asking, I lack discipline in my study. I want to study, but every time I start studying, some or the other thoughts come into my mind. I want to be better, but apart from watching motivational videos that is not lasting long, what other things I can do right now?
See, in the beginning itself,
Yeah,
we talked about it,
yeah,
the motivation,
yeah.
right? And if you are getting distracted, just identify things that are distracting you. Right? It is very important to identify what is distracting you. Like if you are going for, if you are using a lot of phone a lot of times, you just keep it in another room, or give it to some of your friend or mom, dad, if you are living at your home, and it, out of sight, out of mind. It really works. I used to do it. I used to keep my phone at my room when I used to go to library. It actually works. If you feel there will be something important, go for studies for 2 hours. After that, you go to your room, take a break for 10-15 minutes, use your phone, use social media. Everything works. You can watch even motivational videos, right? And to manage your thoughts, or some negative feeling or negative thoughts, I think practicing meditation is a very good thing. I used to do it. If you practice meditation just for 15-20 minutes every day, you'd be very peaceful while studying, and it really helps in your preparation. Right, and to discipline yourself, you cannot sit all together for 4 hours, right, in one at a stretch. It is not possible humanly. Even if you force yourself to sit for 4 hours, your mind won't be receptive enough to absorb whatever you're reading. Make sure to take breaks after every 2 hours, and you can divide your day into multiple sessions of 2 hours. And that way, I mean, in between, you would get some breaks also. So that keeps you motivated. Like, yes, half an hour left for my break. Even in that way, if you study, you can manage your time well, and you can work really well.
Thank you, sir. Sir, one more question is from Sadhna, who lives in Parbani, which is nearby district over here. Sadhna
Yes.
says that, sir, I have completed my NCRT reading. I study as well, but back of the mind, I have a fear that I am competing with students who have passed from IIT, NIT like institutions. I
Mhm.
belong to arts background with 80%. She has included her percentage as well. I am 80%er, but still I have
Mhm.
fear that I won't be able to compete with those students. What is your say to it?
I think it does not make any sense. The fear is fully falsified, I think. Uh, yes, I think if you have an art background, I think you have an advantage, I would say, because most of the topics are from the art subject, right? And the way you would be able to articulate your answers, and if you the way you would be able to use the examples or the essay or even the ethics writing, that would be any day, it would be better than any engineer. I can assure you that. You can, and you would be good at reading as well. But this fear is a uh, very bad enemy for your preparation. Just keep it out of your mind, and be confident about your preparation. Have trust in yourself, and you will do good. Others do your thing. You just put in your hard work, and definitely you will see the result.
Okay, okay. Sir, this is last question, and this question is from one of our class student. His name is Yash. You know Yash quite well, and Yash has
Yes.
asked. Yash has asked that, sir, how did you manage to maintain your humility in these many adversities?
Uh, Actually, humility, uh, you know what, I mean, you know what has brought you here, right? You were not given your success right into your hand. You had to struggle for so long. I know, I mean, it is very important to keep stay grounded. Otherwise, you won't go far. That's for sure. We have seen from recent examples.
Correct.
If you need to stay humble and stick stuck to your roots. I think that's the only way. I think, and I do not try to be. I mean, I don't know. It comes naturally to me. I think I should say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That is actually, sir. Honestly speaking, after 1 hour of this conversation, there is not even one single point where I can find us even a glimpse of arrogance into your talking. You are so humble, and it is the true fact that yes, you are a very humble personality. Moreover than that, I am very grateful that you agreed to do this. Apart from that, you managed to tell all the things whatever are necessary for the preparation. This was major of the crux of the interview which we wanted to have with you. This is like thanks a lot for giving this 1 hour. One final question, sir. What is your message to the students who are preparing into three tier two and three tier cities, and apart from that, rural areas who doesn't have access to multiplicity of the coaching institutions and that kind of infrastructure, who have mentor, some doesn't have mentor, but they have a belief that they want to do it. What is your message for them?
Yes. My message is very simple. I think, as I have been talking about it throughout, hard work, there is no replacement for hard work. And for resources, even if you do not join any formal coaching, there are sufficient amount of material available in the internet, in YouTube, as well as in the written format. You can easily prepare for them. We have multiple examples. I have many of my friends who have not gone for any coaching, or have not stayed in any of these famous I mean, the coaching centers, or in cities like Delhi or Bangalore or Chennai. But they have prepared from their home, prepared on their own, and they have achieved success in a very impressive manner. So I don't think you are at any kind of disadvantage. The only thing is keep believing in yourself and keep working hard. And I'm sure you would be able to succeed and achieve whatever you're aspiring for.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for your precious time. And we are looking forward to host you into Latur once you come over here. If you are not coming by any other work, please come to visit us so that we all can meet you in person. And we are very grateful for your time that you have given us, sir.
Sure,
And
sure. Thank you
thank
so
you.
much
Thank you
for
so
hosting me.
much, sir. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much for hosting me.
Yes, yes,
Thank you.
yes. Namaskar.